Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Betholkis, and it's time for another episode. Well, I should say 3 episodes of The Legend of Vox Machina. It's season 2, episodes 4, 5, and 6. That is Those Who Walk Away, Pass Through Fire, and Into Rhymecleft. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you're feeling lucky or you feel like gambling, you get that bell down below, and YouTube may or may not notify you when I come on live. So best thing to do is go over to Suspended Fanimation, take a look at the schedule I have up there and the time frame that I'm looking at coming in and actually doing something. Sorry, I'm a little bit late on this one. But it's going to be a little hectic for a little while here. I also have all the links to my social media there, and I have all the links to my pages there as well. I also have what's coming up, in the year, what's going to be released, that kind of stuff up there as well. So let's get started, shall we? Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you've not seen the episodes, I should say, go and watch them. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. Give you enough time to pause, do whatever you need to do, all that stuff. All right. So, damn, everyone just keeps powering up, is what it looks like. Like I said, Vex, well, she was dead, and Vax, because we started off exactly where we left off last time. Vax sees the matron, of Ravens, walking over to Vex, and it's going to take her soul. We see that his soul and her soul are actually Vex and Vax's soul are tethered to each other. There's a tether between them, and the matron actually severs that tether, and Vax tells her, take him instead, and he'll do anything. And so she severs that tie, and Vex wakes up, and seems to be okay. Although Vax now is wearing the, you know, the Deathwalker's ward at this point, and everyone's kind of shocked by this. Like, when the hell do you have time to put this on? And yeah, so all kinds of shit's going down. In the meantime, Cash and Zara are, after all of this, they still decide that, well, if they have the ward, they still want it. Maybe they could just knock them all out and they can just steal the ward back. And so, of course, Zara releases a monster while they're still in the sunken tomb. And Vax ends up finding out that he needs to, well, defeat the warrior to become the matron's warrior. He does this and, of course, defeats Zara's creature, which is now out of control at this point. So he has leveled up and has activated the armor that he has on him. It's like most D&D campaigns, obviously, at this point. So on their way to the Sphinx's mate, I should say, Osira's mate, um, they end up coming across, well, they're walking through this forest, and they come to an active volcano, which isn't supposed to be active. And this is in the fire realm, which Keyleth knows about, and that's where she's supposed to go for one of her trials. And we find out that the ward between the fire realm and this planet is now broken down, and all these fire creatures are coming through, and the rift is just getting bigger. And she bumps into her father, who's also trying to help close this rift. And we saw the very beginning of this episode too, we saw a young Keyleth watching her mom take the trials, and obviously her mom disappeared um on that whole journey, or we don't know what happened to her. So she's wondering about this as well. Well, Keyleth ends up walking into the plane. She becomes like having this flame armor. It looked really kind of cool, and she ends up closing the rift, coming back, and has mastered fire at this point. So she gets her fire badge, if you will, her um, off of all of this stuff, and continues on her journey with her group of with the group there. So she's leveled up now too. Um, yeah, it's just kind of this whole weird thing. And Grog, in the meantime, in all of this, has been communicating with the Craven Edge with his sword, and the sword just keeps saying he's hungry. It's hunger. Feed me, hungry. Feed me. And Grog is not understanding what's going on because he's that dumb. And that, of course, is going to be trouble in the making. When we get into the next episode after that, that's Pass Through Fire. That is that episode. We end up going into Rhyme Cleft, where the group ends up finding out where the Sphinx lives, and the Sphinx is Kama. We're just going to call him Cam because that's what Scanlan calls him, as Cam. And Cam says, well, since my mate sent you over here, I haven't seen her in centuries. You need to prove yourself in order to get the next vestige, and the next vestige will actually tell you where actually, he doesn't say this as of yet, but basically says you can choose what you want to, what test that you want to do, and it's either fight 70 gorgons. um I forget what the second one was, and then the third one was you must wound me. Any wound will do, is what he says. As long as I haven't felt anything since I've been around for eons. I haven't felt pain. I haven't felt anything. So they decide, of course, to wound the Sphinx. Big stupid fucking mistake, obviously. And they get transported to another realm where they end up, of course, everyone just throws themselves at the Sphinx, and the Sphinx just kind of knocks them off, into the void, where they're going to fall forever. Scanlan is the last one that's left there, and he's trying to hide. And he's like, "Dude, because I don't want to fight you," because And the Sphinx tells him, "You know what? You need to do something because you're going to join your friends in oblivion." And Scanlan says, "Okay, just wait a minute." He goes, "I got an idea." And he starts to sing a song about Osira, Cam's mate, and how they miss each other and all this stuff. And of course, being that he can use his instrument, I know, so to speak, and he can actually bring her to life and show her and Cam flying around together as they're singing the song and all this stuff. And he actually succeeds in wounding Cam, which was actually pretty good. Thank you. That Yeah, choice two was the endless labyrinth of misery. That's right. Thanks, Penn, on that one. Um, so yeah, he does end up wounding the Sphinx's heart by making him cry, and wins the vestige, and he ends up getting a little sword as a vestige, but this sword will let them know where all the other vestiges are. So that is, and that's what Scanlan sees. He's seen where the vestiges are. One of them is in a Fey world, so they have to go to these. They have to go to a different realm of existence, which they might be able to do with Keyleth now at this point, since she has mastered fire and seems to be able to to go to different dimensions now at this point as well. So their victory is a little bit short lived because the acid dragon there ends up you know crashing the party, so to speak. Kevdek is his name. That's right, Kevdek. Uh, and ends up just fighting with the Sphinx. They with Cam. There is a long, it's a battle. It's a huge battle, and Grog ends up actually getting some licks in too with the Craven Edge, and he's actually able to draw blood, which is what the Craven Edge wants, and starts pumping him up more and more and more. And by the way, Grog has had a dream about killing everybody, and that he will end up killing everybody and just being this other person, if you will. And he hasn't told anybody about it, of course. And especially Pike. Pike is cut in half at one point in this dream, and pleading for him for help. And he hasn't mentioned this to anybody, and he just kind of gets lost in bloodlust as he is fighting against the dragon. Keyleth is basically going to get everyone out. She draws a circle on the ground and is getting ready to transport everyone to another dimension. And Pike is trying to grab Grog to say, "Hey, we need to get back into the circle with everybody." and Grog ends up stabbing her and killing her and ends up killing Pike. And he snaps out of it when he does this, of course, and grabs Scanlan and he hightails it back to the ring just as Keyleth is getting ready to transport everybody. And also the dragon has defeated Cam. Kevdek has defeated Cam at this point and is going after them and ends up taking a swipe at Keyleth, kind of knocks her staff, which everyone transports, and we see them lose Grog, Pike, and Scanlan, and they end up in the Fey world. The rest of the group ends up in the Fey world, but not Grog, Pike, and Scanlan. And that's kind of where we leave off on this, at the end of episode 6, where we got some people that are powered up quite a bit. We also have, people's backstories too, a little bit of some people's backstories. Keyleth. We also had Vex and Vax, a little bit more about them and where Trinket came from, how Trinket came about. He was a bear cub whose mom got killed. And yeah, so it's kind of interesting. I like the way they're doing this season where we are getting they're not dwelling on people's backstories. They're doing like a little bit at a time. They would take 5 minutes at the very beginning of every episode and show people's backstories. There, how where they came from, or kind of what they've gone through a little bit. And I kind of like where they're going with this. And then the power-ups are interesting as well, just seeing these people change. And especially with Vax becoming now um, the matron of Raven's champion, and he can't take the vestige the vestige off of him because he is now pretty much death personified. He is now dead for quote unquote. Yeah, he basically is. He keeps seeing himself as dead. So we're going to see something that's going to happen here. Penn says best line in the episode: never stubbed his toe, never poked his eye, never got an ingrown hair on his peen. Yeah, Scanlan talking about that. Raymond says, when do these episodes drop? I thought only the first 3 episodes were out. Weren't D&D fans boycotting because of their new predatory policy? So these episodes come out on Thursdays. Well, it's supposed to come out on Fridays, but they usually drop Thursday night. For me, it's 6 p.m. So I think it's 9 p.m. Eastern time on Amazon Prime. So they've been dropping 3 episodes at a time. So they're 4, 5, and 6 has been dropped now. Maybe you just need to refresh. And so I don't know about D&D fans boycotting this, or I think they were critical of Critical Role, the guys who do this, the group that do this, because of a statement that they made about, I don't know exactly what the politics are. I honestly, I don't play D&D. I'm sorry. But there was some statement that was made that didn't um, distance themselves, I guess, far enough from what was going on, whatever the controversy is. And that's what people didn't like about that with Critical Role. So I think they were upset with how Critical Role stated that they weren't cool with the predatory the predatory policies, but they didn't distance themselves enough from it, I guess, is what's going on. At least that's the gist of things I've got off of Twitter. Like I said, I got so many other things going on right now that I haven't followed that part of it. It seems like I would just really, really need to delve into it. I really don't have time, nor do I. Yeah, it's just, yeah. But back to the series here. I like where they're going with this. The animation's beautiful. The CGI, I understand you need to do it from time to time, especially with a character as complex as the Sphinx. Um, I do like the 2D animation better than the 3D stuff with the CGI stuff that's been going on. I can see the difference between the two, and it just, for me, it kind of takes me out of it. It's like, okay, so. And yes, I know they're doing 2D as well in 3D applications. I understand that as well. but it's the way they're rendering them that look more like hand drawn stuff versus the Sphinx started looking a little bit too ultra Voltronish for me at some points. I think it's just his face. So it's still a cool character. I like the character design. So, but yeah, I CBM says for me doesn't seem enough to boycott. They aren't being discriminatory or committing acts of unethical. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you, CBM. Um, they are doing their own thing as far as I'm concerned. They are not, you know, maybe they're not voicing it harsh enough, against what's going on. And again, I don't know exactly what the issue is on that. Um, so yeah, and from what I understand is if they do voice it as harshly as they could, I guess they're going to lose some sponsorship. I don't know exactly what's going on that. Again, like I said, I haven't followed it enough to really kind of delve into it. Sorry. I got other stuff going on at the moment, housing stuff and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, by the way, so if things go the way they're supposed to go in a month or two's time, this all could change behind me and to a different look. So, yeah, that's what I've been busy with. So, what else do I have going on for the rest of this week? Well, I'm going to be off tomorrow and Sunday. Excuse me. Monday, I'll be back with The Last of Us. That's going to be episode 3 of The Last of Us. I know it premieres on Sundays, but again, it's just too late for some people, and I'll just do it on Monday. So Monday will be The Last of Us. Tuesday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? I'm kind of going back and forth on. I'm probably going to do Extraordinary, which is on Hulu. There's a series on Hulu the whole series is called Extraordinary, so I'll probably be doing that then. Um, there's actually another series that's on Netflix called Lockwood and Company, which I'm also going to cover at some point in time, but just not this week or next week, I should say. Wednesday will be The Bad Batch. Thursday I'll be off. Friday will be another episode of The Legend of Vox Machina. I should say next episodes. So 7, 8, and 9 of that. CBM said, I just realized it's funny that Trinket is going inside a trinket. He's going inside a locket, is where Trinket is going into a locket, CBM. That's what they called it. They called it a locket. Yeah, that whole transmogrification stuff was kind of funny. And I love Grog going, me next, me next. He wanted to be transported into the locket as well. So yeah. And also seeing those uh, those guys that were bringing tribute to the dragons that looked a lot like Grog's people that might be giants. I guess we're going to get Grog's background. Is what we're going to get in the next couple episodes here, which is going to be good. I'm looking forward to see, because Grog is kind of an enigma. So is Pike as well. I want to know what happened with Pike and Scanlan. So I guess that's who we're going to get. We're going to get Grog, Pike, and Scanlan going on there. We already know Percy because we had all season 1. That was pretty much Percy. We have a little bit of, Vex and Vax, and of course, Kayla or Kiki, Kalith, Kiki. There we go. I don't know why I said Kayla. It's Keyleth. Man, my brain is just everywhere. CBM says Pike is sort of my favorite character. For me, it kind of vacillates back and forth. I like Pike, but I think Scanlan is my favorite character just because he's kind of an asshole, really. But at the same time, he's an asshole because you saw it in the whole Sphinx episode, the last episode there, where Cam calls him out on it and basically says, you need to just kind of open yourself up. and not just be so closed off. He goes, "You've been looking for love, but you haven't let love find you," is what he tells him. Plus, Galen, the whole thing with the body parts that he can create with the music and all that stuff. And Grog, I mean, Grog makes me laugh just because Grog is Grog. I like all the characters, I really do. Maybe not Vax so much. Vax is pretty much is on the least of my list. Is where he's at. He's on at the bottom of my list, I should say. Yeah, just because he's kind of a stick in the mud. Kiki, on the other hand, makes me, it's kind of nice seeing Kiki's stuff, what she's doing. And now that we know that she is now what she's supposed to be doing for her trials, now that makes a lot more sense. Because they kind of hinted at it that, she was on her pilgrimage, her trials, and never really knew what those were about. They really never kind of nailed that down until this season. And that was also good too. I mean, like I said, they are telling the story as they're going through the main story, and that's the way you should be doing this, especially for a series. Is move that story along. I'm looking at you, Bad Batch. Move the story along, the main story, but you can also fill in the background gaps and stuff like that, and you can do it succinctly. You can do this well, and you can grow your characters at the same time. There isn't it's just a matter of writing is really all it is your writers need to be up to the task of doing this and doing it well. And again, this is going through in the writers room and polishing that, doing more than just one draft or two drafts. You need to keep reworking it a bit. Yes, you can't overwork it, but you need to know where the end point is on that. And I think Critical Role here has a great sense of story. And again, it comes from that whole D&D stuff of sitting around and playing a game where you have to craft that as a dungeon master and lead people through this. And there's a lot of setup involved in all of this as well. And it shows in the writing of this series. Just the world building and the characters and leveling up and even the characters that they're running into, that for their trials and stuff like that. That is actually really well done in this series. So there you have it. CBM says I enjoyed Extraordinary so far. Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, I'm going to do Extraordinary next week. I believe that's the one I'll do. Since Lockwood and Company just came out, I figured, it just came out today. So, with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go. I may pop in this weekend and do a Saturday morning blast off on Sunday. I don't know for sure. Again, there's just so many things that are up in the air right now. I am spinning plates, and I'm hearing a plate crash here and there. As things are happening. So we'll see what happens. I'll play it by ear, but I'll announce it. At least about a half an hour before it happens. So thank you to everybody who joined me tonight in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you know who you are out there. Take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, please hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. All righty. Thank you, everyone. I will let you go for the night. Have a good rest of your night. And remember, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you might need to fight a acid spewing dragon, which isn't as easy as it sounds. It's even might be a little bit harder than fighting a sphinx and wounding it. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Monday. Until then, have a good rest of your night. Stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, get the boosters as well. Doesn't work without the boosters. Stay safe out there, everyone. Have a good rest of your night. Good night.